What is up, everybody? And I hope you're having a fantastic Hump Day Wednesday so far. This is NYG Jeffy T85 here, and I am bringing you the Black and Blue Injury Report for the New York Giants, December 7th, Wednesday, 2022, as the New York Giants get prepared for this Sunday's game against the Philadelphia Eagles at MetLife Stadium, Week 14. So this is going to be one of those types of matchups, especially after what happened last week with the New York Giants, where they ended up tying against the Washington Commanders. And of course, if anybody didn't hear the breaking news that happened yesterday, the Giants will officially have their Week 15 game against the Commanders flexed to Sunday Night Football. So the Giants will now be playing at FedEx Field on Sunday Night Football going forward. Now, in terms of the injury report for the New York Giants, just going to go over a couple of things with some of the news and notes that happened at Brian Daboll's press conference that he had today. And so far on the injury report, he mentioned today that Xavier McKinney, he might get his pins taken out of his hand. He's scheduled to go into he's scheduled to go tomorrow to get his hand checked on. If it's good enough, he can have the pins removed from his hand, and he might have a shot of returning next week. But right now, Brian Daboll doubts that he will return this week against the Philadelphia Eagles. In terms of Joshua Ezeudu, he's right now been fighting through that neck injury, and Brian Daboll pretty much says he's fighting through it, and we'll see. I think he's getting better, but he's fighting through that neck injury. So we'll have to wait and see on the status of Joshua Ezeudu. Leonard Williams, pretty much, he's also going through that neck injury as well. So he's pretty much been dealing with the same thing that Joshua Ezeudu is, and he's been categorized in that same area as Joshua Ezeudu. So you have to think about that. And Ben Bredeson, who is continuing to come back after he suffered his knee injury the same week that the Giants lost Evan Neal and Daniel Bellinger. Bredeson right now seems to be making some good progress coming back from that knee injury. He was activated off the IR last week, but it sounds like that he might be still a week away until he might be ready to go for the game on Sunday Night Football next week against the Washington Commanders. So that's just some of the news that Brian Daboll came out with in his update, that don't expect Xavier McKinney back this week, probably next week. Ditto for Ben Bredeson, and both Leonard Williams and Joshua Ezeudu are fighting through neck injuries right now, so it might be a little bit of a task for the two of them to make it back. Now, in terms of the players that did not practice today, the Giants ended up having 3 players that did not practice today because of they're just having a rest day. And that, of course, is right guard Mark Glowinski, defensive lineman Dexter Lawrence, and safety Julian Love. They all are on the injury report, but they did not practice today because they got a rest day. So it's not because they are injured, but because they got a rest day overall. So that is the reason why they did not practice today. In terms of the players that obviously did not practice to be related to an injury issue, Joshua Ezeudu, he's dealing with the neck injury, as I mentioned earlier in Brian Daboll's press conference. He's fighting through it, though he did not practice today. Ditto for defensive lineman Leonard Williams, who left the second half of last week's game against the Commanders also with a neck injury. Those two guys did not practice today. Adoree Jackson, no real update on him. Sounds like he's still at least a couple of weeks away from the sprained MCL. He obviously didn't practice today. And ditto for Shane Lemieux, who's dealing with the toe injury. He also did not practice today. So not very good news in terms of the 4 of those guys. Darnay Holmes, in terms of the limited participants, Darnay Holmes, he ended up having a limited practice. He was dealing with a shoulder injury. The reason why he did not practice last week, and that's why he did not play last week against the Commanders. He had a limited practice today with the shoulder injury. Have to see how he feels in the next couple of days before they give a status report on Darnay Holmes and if he might be able to get back to that slot cornerback position he had earlier on. Richie James is dealing with the knee injury right now. He has been dealing with the past couple of weeks, though he has played through it. He's dealing with the knee injury. He got a limited practice as well. He's fighting through the pain, but he at least has been able to play in the meantime. So he's practicing through that knee injury right now. Nick McCloud, who's been doing a solid and admirable job on the outside, taking over for Adoree Jackson. He's now got a hamstring injury, though he got a limited practice today. Have to see how that hamstring is going to be feeling the next couple of days, though he at least got a hamstring. At least he got a limited participation at practice today. And Henry Mondeaux dealing with a knee injury. He's one of the reserve defensive linemen the Giants have right now. He's dealing with that knee injury. He at least got a limited practice. Giants obviously have Justin Ellis, and then they just brought up Vernon Butler from the practice squad. So if God forbid Henry Mondeaux can't play, you could always call up Vernon Butler again and throw him into the rotation to replace Mondeaux while he recovers from injury. In terms of the full participants in practice, Kenny Golladay, who was out last week due to that illness, he ended up getting a full practice today, so he at least is looking like he's back in line to return for the New York Giants this week against the Philadelphia Eagles. So we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen, but that's your Black and Blue injury report for right now. The Giants obviously updating on the injuries concerning some of their players right now. Don't expect Xavier McKinney or Ben Bredeson for this week. I think they're both at least another week away. So it sounds like that both McKinney and Bredeson might be back for the game against the Commanders on Sunday Night Football next week. And that both Joshua Ezeudu and Leonard Williams are battling through their recent neck injuries right now. But that might be a little bit of time until we might still see them back on the football field. And in terms of the injury report overall, Joshua Ezeudu, Adoree Jackson, Shane Lemieux, and Leonard Williams are the players that did not practice today due to an injury-related issue. Ezeudu and Williams with the neck injury, and Adoree Jackson with the sprained MCL, and Shane Lemieux with the toe injury. You have 4 players that were limited practice today. Richie James, who's been battling the knee injury the past couple of weeks, though he has been able to play. Darnay Holmes with a shoulder injury. He missed last week because of it, but I think he might be back this week. Nick McCloud battling through a hamstring injury. Have to see how he feels after practice today and into the next couple of days. And then Henry Mondeaux dealing with the knee injury. Have to find out how he's doing overall as well. So we're going to have to wait and see what's going to happen. And of course, the full participants today. Kenny Golladay dealing with an illness, missed last week's practice because of that illness. He was able to come back and be a full participant today, so should be able to be out there and play this week. But that is your Black and Blue injury report for the New York Giants, December 7th, 2022, Wednesday, getting ready for the game against the Philadelphia Eagles. So if you guys like this video, hit the like button below. Sub up if you haven't already to NYGJeffyT85 for more breaking news, updates, chatter, and injury reports surrounding the New York Giants. Turn on the bell for notifications on the next video or short that's going to be dropping on the channel surrounding the New York Giants. And let me know in the comment section what you guys think about the latest injury report for the New York Giants heading into this game on Sunday at MetLife Stadium against the Philadelphia Eagles, our very, very, very bitter rivals, Philadelphia Eagles, this Sunday. So I thank you very much, everybody. I hope everybody's had a fantastic Hump Day Wednesday so far. As always, take it easy and let's go New York Football Giants. As you always know, together blue, everyone.